What are the ties of love that bind our families together? What is the divine purpose of love in our families? Sountracks presents Ties That Bind.
Yes, it's true that it is us that must be capable in perceiving a lot of things. And it is through us that others should think about various aspects in regards to leading good family lives. However, often a lot of times, because we ourselves are unaware of a certain amount of things, it tends to become public, which in turn breeds conflict within the family. Nowadays, when we come to know of all the occurrences that can happen within the realm of modern families, it goes on to emphasize the fact that many are simply confused of things that must be commonly known by all. What is the most joyful aspect in regards to a family? Within the society that we live in, every sector is segregated on the basis of the quality given. An analogy can be made with respect to the division of class amongst places to eat. We have fast food joints, restaurants, air-conditioned restaurants, and five-star hotels. Now it must be noted that the very stature of each of these places is not determined by how they were designed to be, but it is decided by the people who visit these places. When VIPs continually visit a particular hotel for fine dining, for example, they provide the necessary facilities to accommodate the needs and wants of those people who visit. This is also applicable to the personnel employed at such places, or the staff that is employed in such places. A similar example can be seen in regards to the members that constitute our families. The stature or perhaps the worth of our families are determined by the members that dwell within a particular household. And this very factor also stimulates the general ambience in families as to being either heavenly or hell on earth. This is not coincidental. What I'm meaning to put across is that we ourselves hold the keys to the happiness of our families. And bearing this in mind, most of us obviously desire for a heavenly family experience. When two people are unified by the bond of marriage, they usually start off as blissful couple. They start planning their futures together, compromise, and usually tend to show a lot of affection towards one another. However, that being said, after a few months or perhaps after a few years into the marriage, they lose faith in one another. The dreams that they built together fall apart. Their futures seem bleak, and they come into this particular state of affairs wherein they seem comfortable living with no hopes for a better life. A few months ago, a family visited our counseling center. They came in with their children. We spoke to them in separate rooms, and the wife testified something that had been going on and about in her family, which will be discussed in today's session with respect to how one can achieve happiness in family life. She said, "Sir, I have no place of value in our family." That's what she said. I have no place of value in our family. The first thing that may or may not come into the minds of our listeners would be that the same thing has been said by us too. The feeling that you as an individual do not possess a place of value in your family is quite disheartening. It is in fact our responsibility to manifest the esteem of our family members to the world outside. And this can be only conveyed by our respect or corresponding respect shown towards them. For example, if you are a husband, then your behavior and the respect shown to your wife is the foundation upon which your home sits upon. If you remember the analogy given earlier, the quality of a hotel, for example, depends solely on the stature of the people who visit the same. The same methodology or the same method can be applied in the case of a husband and a wife. The existence of your family depends fundamentally on the basis of how you treat and respect one another within the family. In regards to this, I would like to share some tips which remain necessary for the smooth running of a family. First and foremost, give the required position of value for your life partner. What all factors must one be aware in regards to giving the necessary value for your life partner? Firstly, husbands, you must address your wives with utmost respect. This is something that most of us take for granted. You cannot take your spouse for granted. In our native language, wives are addressed in a disrespectful manner. At least that is the case in our particular state. However, these husbands do not tend to take the same approach when it comes down to communing with other women. For example, we address the shopkeeping lady with sisterly respect. We address an air hostess or any of such women in a position of power with the socially conventional madam or ma'am. But on the other hand, husbands tend to neglect the value or perhaps tend to be dismissive of the value held by their life partners chosen by God Himself. Hence, this is the first step towards a successful marriage. Give the necessary respect to your wives. Now, with regards to wives, the same approach must be held in a household. The thought that must be applied here is that your lives are a testament to your children. Your children remain witnesses to everything that goes on and about within a Christian household. Hence, in anything that is said by a wife, they must be respectful of their husbands. One of the main reasons that children rise up against their parents is because of the conflict in the family between husbands and wives. Hence, to be a good father or to be a good mother, one must first learn how to become an ideal husband and an exemplary wife. If such an example is held in families, children start respecting their parents and your families start to be filled with heavenly grace. It is God Himself who dwells high above that has facilitated such an ordinance through the Holy Word itself, that if all members within a family respect one another, it leads to a spiritual atmosphere in the family. Let these words help you in the days to come. Let us apply all the above stated principles into our practical lives, and let this session of Ties That Bind make a difference in the families of all those who listen. We will be back with more of such thoughts in the coming episode. Until then, let the grace of God dwell in you. Amen.